So next we're going to try to look at some examples of playing against pawn weaknesses from modern Grandmaster games. And this first position is taken from a game between Vasily Ivanchuk and Peter Leko, both of whom are top 20 in the world. And White's doing pretty well here because Black's pawns are a little bit weak and White has a lot of space, right? The E6 pawn is a little weak. The G6 pawn looks pretty healthy, but it's already being attacked a couple times. And what I want you to look for, as we're looking at these games, is two things to notice. The first is that when Grandmasters push pawns, they have very intentional ideas with it, right? You won't see a lot of pawn moves because pawns can't go backwards. And so when White moves a pawn in this position, it's going to be with a specific idea to weaken a square. The second thing to look out for is how important tactics always are. Right? This is, of course, in positional chess, but the tactics underpin everything. And positional concepts only work if they're backed up by tactics. We'll see in the game some examples of this. So White starts out thinking about G6 and E6. And of course, G6 is super well defended. So White plays H4. Right? And the idea is to play H5 and maybe sort of soften that square up, right? To add an attacker and a very unvaluable attacker. So Black responds with this useful move, Knight F8, right? It defends both G6 and E6. And by defending E6, it frees the rook to maybe come over to C8 and exchange itself off. And White plays a very clever move, right? White wants to stop rook C8. If White just went ahead with White's plans and played H5, then Black would trade the rook off. And it's possible here for Black to defend because White has a little bit less attacking force, right? Trading is a common defensive idea. So White wants to stop rook C8 trading off the rook. And so before playing H5, White plays this clever move, Queen F4. Do you see how that stops it? Right? If now Black played rook C8, White would capture it, and looks like Black has two ways to capture back, but neither works. Right? The knight's pinned to the queen, so if we take with the knight, White's taking our queen.